hell did he know to come directly here? Is this the only other door on this street after the hotel? The hell?
He didn't. This movie was so bad that you really don't need to make up. When Bugs looked out the door, she could see him headed in this direction. Given the number of available storefronts from this direction, it isn't inconceivable that he'd find her very quickly. He's not the only one looking for her. There are multiple cops in the area, so he could easily order everyone to fan out and search for her, and then he would be the one to find her.
I am Morpheus.
There is zero reason this version of Morpheus couldn't have been played by Fishburne. I mean, other than money or the almighty scheduling, which usually just means money. Morpheus being younger here and even a nanobot in the real world does not necessitate a new actor, but whatever.
Only you could take a really bad movie and completely screw up the sins. Did you miss the later parts of the movie where the Morpheus character isn't just standing around and saying lines? Like the shootout in the office, and even in this scene where he's running down a hall? Lawrence Fishburne is 61 years old. He was 38 when The Matrix came out. He's not going to be able to do the same things that he could do back then. Also, the movie takes place 60 years after the first one, so they have to portray him as even older, just like they did with Niobe. Also, it turns out that it has something to do with Lana Wachowski, but you're not one for doing research, so...
Anything else, this movie is teaching me that modern agents, aka goddamn computer programs, can't aim for shit. They can do intricate kung fu moves, but their computer brains are just not capable of aiming worth a damn, apparently.
They couldn't aim for before either. They hit Morpheus once and Neo once, but that was out of about 10 shots total. A 20% hit ratio is not good for a computer.
Okay, lots to unpack here. First of all, this is the office of the most famous designer of the most popular video game of all time. It looks like the office of an everyday Wall Street bro.
Apparently you've never seen the setup of a genius software developer. Let me break this down. An everyday Wall Street bro, as you put it, would have no less than 6 monitors, 3 on top and 3 on the bottom. I've personally seen these setups. They also wouldn't have a joystick and 2 VR headsets on their desk. Finally, they probably wouldn't have 3 laptops sitting on the desk.
Second, the monitor setup on this desk is chaotic neutral at best, but the far top left laptop is virtually unseeable from Neo's current position.
As far as Neo's setup, the laptop in the upper left likely isn't meant to be seen. It's meant to be sitting there compiling some code or running a debugger. He could easily have remote access to it, so it doesn't even need to be within reach.
Millions of people just living out their lives, oblivious.
Hey, I remember that line from The Matrix. Some nice, fun nostalgia for this second scene, and then it's on to something new, right? Right?
Are you going to send every piece of nostalgia that pops up? Yeah, I get it. It's overdone. So maybe just tack on some sins, like 10, and move on. Kinda like this.
We're still telling the same stories we've always told, just with different names, different faces.
The MCU.
And literally every movie in the past 100 years. For those that don't know, there are 3 basic plot lines for all stories. Man versus man versus nature, and man versus himself. Those can be expanded into a further 7, but they all basically boil down to that. The point is, this isn't new with the MCU. Oh, and Jeremy makes a pop culture reference that isn't a sin of the movie cliche.
You're a suicide survivor, gifted with a powerful imagination.
This will not be the last time this movie uses suicide as a direct metaphor for escaping a fake reality, and it will also not be the last time I sin it for doing so.
You completely missed the point of the suicide metaphor. He wasn't attempting to escape the fake reality. If anything, the machine screwed something up with the program and he believed he was somewhere else, not at the party. This isn't hard to understand when you realize that everyone else sees him as something else.
Need a refill on your prescription?
Yeah.
I wish this movie was making a statement about overprescribing mental health patients who might be treatable with therapy and exercise alone, but it's really just using therapy and drugs as metaphors for prison shackles, which is an outdated way of thinking regarding mental health, and it's pretty offensive, actually.
Just because you have a counseling service sponsoring your video does not mean the movie is using mental health metaphors. I'm just going to give you 5 more sins on the off chance you mention it again.
Matrix Resurrections making the timely and original point that maybe we spend too much time on our mobile devices.
Except that this scene is literally part of a montage of scenes that are pushing the point that Neo is a bored programmer, being forced to work on something he doesn't want to work on. So his days are made up of wash, rinse, repeat. There's also pointing out that everyone else is still plugged in. But if the movie was trying to make the point that Jeremy thinks, then they did it just as badly as they did with all the mythology that was thrown into Matrix 2.
People want us up in their gray space.
He just said that in a different outfit in a different scene. So, is the movie saying every day is the same but different? Or are these employees just repeating themselves every meeting? Do these all represent times Neo tried to get out or kill himself but then got reset?
Both? I think you might be starting to get it. But also, Neo did not try to kill himself multiple times. The movie is not about suicide. Stop trying to make it about that.
Obviously, the Matrix is about
Transpolitics.
Crypto-fascism.
It's a metaphor.
Of capitalist exploitation.
One of the things I think this movie does really well here is skewer all the self-important philosophical articles and theses written about the original that were just seeing what they wanted to see. And yet most of the critics, even those who like this movie, seem to think the main theme is about reboots and the iPhone age. Anyway, that's a sin-off for this movie regardless.
You took a sin off for all this garbage? I'm just gonna add 20, just because.
I don't want to take these pills. I can get down with that. But putting them all down the sink drain is a plumbing nightmare in the making. Just use the trash, man.
Are you blind? Like seriously, are you blind? Because not a single pill goes down the drain. The drain stopper is too low to let any of them go down the drain. At least you didn't refer to chemicals ending up in the water. Still gonna give you another 20 sins for thinking these pills could possibly go down that drain.
we need a new bullet time.
I do 100% believe WB executives said this at one point. So the sin is for WB executives.
I mean, the character isn't wrong. Bullet time is part of what made The Matrix so revolutionary. Without it, we probably wouldn't have ended up with the story we got.
I should get more therapy, but honestly, I'm too goddamn tired.
Weird. This movie is already kind of mishandled.
Skip!
My youngest stuck a Lego up his nose.
Kids.
Yes, kids do dumb things, much like CinemaSins. That's not a sin of the movie, though.
Can't be happening.
Do you mean
Skip!
naming the company Deus Machina in the background while the new young digital Morpheus does impossible to shoot all the bad guys does not absolve you from new young digital Morpheus being a Deus Ex Machina in this scene?
How is what Morpheus did impossible? It's established in the trilogy that these maneuvers are very possible. This Morpheus is a program, so it should be even easier for him to do it. Also, how in the hell is he a Deus Ex Machina? He was in the bathroom. If he had come out of nowhere, you'd be right, but he's literally in the scene before this happens.
I've missed you.
So they hid Agent Smith inside Neo's boss at the video game company? Really? I will kindly sit on my porch every Monday for 20 years waiting for someone to deliver me a good reason why. When the machines rebuilt a new Matrix, Agent Smith ended up as Neo's video game boss. What the everlong f***ing with the helling goddamn sh**?
Who is they? The machines certainly weren't responsible for that. Are we forgetting that Agent Smith has his own agency? Literally every person in the Matrix is still plugged in. So yes, his coworkers are all still plugged in. The company that wrote the game isn't being controlled by the machines. If it were, why in the hell would they ever let Neo anywhere near the company?
I heard deja vu outside, opened my door, and there you were.
If the machines are trying to keep all this on the down low, why would they name the cat Deja Vu? Are they programmed with an Easter egg delivery directive?
Oh, so you have a problem with the analyst's cat, Smith working at the company with Neo, but not Neo being able to make a game based on his experience in the Matrix? Are you serious?
Look, real talk, I've done therapy a bunch in my life. At my count, at least 6 different offices, and none of them ever look like Hannibal Lecter's Federal Hill 5,000 square foot apartment. God damn, this is a huge and pretentious therapy office. How can anyone concentrate with all the ego stroking going on in this room's decor?
And because you've never seen one means they can't possibly exist, right? Neo is a major game developing genius. His net worth is easily in the multi-millions. You think he wouldn't seek out the absolute best therapist money can buy? Do you really think the therapists you've seen are on the same level as a Hollywood therapist?
I fly or I fall.
Using suicide as an explicit metaphor for escaping a fake reality again.
No, idiot! More like he's drunk, which he is, and you didn't show it, and he's starting to believe that he is in fact in a fake reality. This is after he saw Tiffany's wrong reflection in the table and after his encounter with the new Morpheus.
They look like typical agents. They use bots now skinned as normal people would.
And with that, the movie gives itself permission to mow down as many human-appearing people as it pleases, since they aren't real humans, you see?
You say this as though Morpheus or anyone else in the original Matrix cared when they killed an agent, who was always occupying a real person that was still plugged in. In short, this is nothing new with the franchise.
Time is always against us.
Hey, I remember that line from The Matrix. Some nice, fun nostalgia for this. You know what? This is going to happen a lot, so let's just add 20 sins for this being Say the Line, Bart, the movie, and move on.
You finally decided to add a group sin count to the movie. I'll go ahead and take a sin off now.
We've been checking that company for years. We screened every Thomas Anderson we found. What we didn't understand was that they could alter your DSI.
Hold up. They named him Thomas frickin' Anderson and had him design a game called The Matrix, and you couldn't find him in here because they... Checking notes. Changed his character skin?
You say that as though the name Thomas or Anderson is unique. It isn't. It's two very popular names, so the explanation makes sense. You just didn't like it. Add another 30 sins for the fake laugh, though.
They went to great lengths to keep Neo alive for 60 years, but now they're just firing missiles that could easily kill him?
They are not trying to kill Neo. They are trying to kill the others. Considering that Neo is much further ahead, it's unlikely that this RPG had any chance of killing him.
I can't follow any of this cut-to-death action. I think at one point I saw a sharpened sucker stick and maybe an elbow to the face. This series, even the 2 sequels most people don't love, has long been known for inventive and high-quality action. Till this entry. What in the name of Hypercut McShaky Cam is this nonsense? And no, it's not a commentary on something. Anyone in the comments that explains sins in this video by saying it's a commentary on is disinvited to the family reunion.
So the whole rest of the movie is a commentary on mental health and suicide, but this one fight scene can't be a commentary on anything?
Perspective. Closer you are, bigger it gets.
Advice I gave to my college girlfriend somehow makes it into the script.
Jeremy says boner.
Being able to hide from squiddies this easily.
How is that a sin? He's being held by a machine. There's a very good chance that his own signature would mask the human he's holding.
No, I'm done fighting.
Bitch, you know that's not true, and you're just adding to the length of this thing, so get your ass out there and f***ing do some kung fu!
He meant fighting them. He's been having to fight these humans to prove himself since before he took the red pill.
Nupheus thinks the best way to help Neo's physical body would be to fight in the construct. But when Smith was beating the shit out of Neo in the first movie in the subway, plugged in Neo on the ship was shaking and convulsing and bleeding. I know he's trying to stimulate Neo's mind in the hopes that the mind will help the body, but this is a terrible idea. See?
No. Nupheus, as you call him, is trying to get him to wake up. But, as I said in my own video, it isn't necessary because Neo is already awake. Neo wants to get on with it and go rescue Trinity, but these dumbasses want to go through the motions of waking him up because they think they need to. So no, he isn't trying to stimulate his mind in order to also stimulate his body. It's just pretty unbelievable that you can't figure this out.
So Neo destroys the fighting realm, maybe the construct itself, and then wakes up in his bedroom? What about his vitals? Did he use the One powers to put all his molecules back into place and hold them there?
Stop being so obtuse. He likely got knocked out, and they simply unplugged him and moved him back to his room.
When this new version of the Matrix was uploaded, there was a purge.
You keep that revenge fantasy violence porn.
Jeremy mentions porn. And skip.
Also, that there was a purge is the only explanation we get for why the Oracle is gone. It's fascinatingly lazy writing.
Except it's grounded in the original Matrix trilogy. Did you forget that when the Matrix was rebooted, the One has to choose 6 men and 7 women? I think I got that right. For the new version? What do you think happens to the rest of them? They're purged.
Promised peace, and they gave us purge.
They also pay paradise and put up a parking lot. Ooh, bop, bop, bop.
Jeremy makes a pop culture reference that is not a sin in the movie cliche.
Sequoia, but everybody calls me Seek.
If your real name is Sequoia, why do they call you Seek instead of Sek? This would be like shortening Rihanna to Rai Rai instead of Riri.
Maybe because saying sec sounds an awful lot like sec or even sex. So it might be hard to tell that you were talking to him versus shortening second or just asking for you-know-what.
You knew my grandfather, Captain Roland.
Hey, that's really into...
This is probably the one piece of nostalgia that works in this movie. Just because all the other bits are unnecessary doesn't mean this one is. I'm going to give you 2 sins.
Whenever you're feeling up for it, I've got like a million questions.
That's not weird at all. But also, aren't we trying to save the f***ing world or what? Jesus!
Well, it's not weird since he's the resident neologist.
For me.
Berg is our resident neologist.
A what?
There's a lot of people out there like me who are a little bit obsessed with your life.
But you conveniently cut that part out in order to try and make it weird. This would be no different from someone that exclusively studies George Washington suddenly meeting the real George Washington. Also, he literally says,
Whenever you're feeling up for it,
meaning, yes, let's go save the world first, then I want to ask you a million questions. You aren't this dense. Stop acting like it.
Comes access to this world, within limits.
Didn't the program Smith come into this world in human form in the original trilogy, though? I guess this is a humane way for programs to come to this world, but you make it sound all original and
Yes, he did, but he also had to infect someone that was plugged in. Are you forgetting that part? With this tech, no one has to be infected. Are you missing that part?
Morpheus. Thank you.
Neo shakes hands with a tiny bot version of his mentor that he partially recreated in a modal, which is to say...
Skip!
It looks real.
Biosky works kind of like grow lights.
Wait, is that a weed joke? Is there weed in the year 2247 or whatever? Did Neo ever show any signs of being a weed guy? Oh, wait. Apparently grow lights are for any kind of indoor plant, and I've just projected myself onto this scene.
Yes, you have. You've also been doing that a lot throughout your entire video. Maybe you should send the movie instead of continuously projecting.
Is it just me, or is this old age makeup terrible? It looks like the instruction was to make it look like Jada mixed with the William Shatner mask from Halloween. Cocoon 3, Jada!
It's just you.
Huh, it looks like the mirror reflection is of this hotel room we see on the right, but the reflections table has a chair in the wrong place and a full bouquet of orange flowers, while the right has a chair way out of sight and a single flower in the centerpiece. I guess they're hoping people will be distracted by that Eiffel Tower, but there are loads of differences here that I could go on for days about.
Well, this would be accurate, except you're sending the wrong reflection. If you had let the movie play out just a few more seconds, you'd see the table and chair that are reflected in the mirror as they're stepping through it. But I guess it's easier to manipulate the scene for your fanboys, isn't it?
As with Morpheus, there is zero reason why this should be played by a new actor, other than, again, scheduling difficulties, which just means money. Easy to see how Jonathan Groff, bless him, is cheaper than Hugo Weaving is at this point, no?
And just like your previous sin, this is not a sin of the movie. These characters are programs and can easily be recast.
All you have to do is stay out of the Matrix and leave the good doctor to me.
Somehow in the last 60 years, Smith has grown more angry at the analyst, who is just a new architect, than Neo, which is surprising considering Neo is the one who beat his ass multiple times over multiple films.
Except it's not surprising since the analyst is the one trying to keep the Matrix going, and Smith wants out. The difference between the architect and the analyst should also be obvious. The architect was willing to let people out. The analyst is not.
What the Merv is trying to say is...
The Merv? The Merv? What the f*** is this movie, and can we get to the part where the knee and the Trin finally get back together?
He's shortening that stupid name that people could barely pronounce. Good.
Sure, there's a lot of stuff going on here. Not sure exactly what, but people seem to be occasionally shaky cam hitting each other while the Ferrovingian is shouting things like "suck my silky ass" and "couch flicks, climatey, wiki piss" and shit. And honestly, what more does a Matrix fan really need?
Oh please, there's hardly any shaky cam. Stop padding the sin count, bro.
I still know Kung Fu.
Why is this funny? They all believed he'd been reset, so he's surprised that he still knows Kung Fu. This should be evidence to him that he hasn't really been reset. Sadly, it isn't.
While Neo fights Smith inside the Matrix, I'm still wondering about how he takes all these hits without suffering back at the ship in human form. You know, like he did even when Morpheus was kind of pretend fighting him. He's 100 years old, goddammit, and this movie just wants me to forget that shit whenever it's convenient.
You mean like this?
Who are these people Bugs is fighting? Wait, it doesn't matter? Carry on then.
Exiles, and this is literally explained.
Exiles.
You're being intentionally stupid for your audience, and you're padding the sin count.
Did Neo just generate a force field?
Yes.
Why are there force fields all of a sudden?
He was able to stop bullets in the original Matrix trilogy, and you think he can't generate a force field? It's the same basic concept.
And more importantly, why would he ever stop generating them?
Because he doesn't need to continuously generate a force field, just like he doesn't need to continuously stop bullets.
Old Dr. Hauser using this bullet time nonsense to slow down Neo is certainly bullshit, but did it have to look like actual shit too? What's up with this janky low frame rate crap? Why does this movie want everything to look worse?
The whole point is to show that the analyst can control time, down to a single person, within the Matrix.
So odd to me that the first three movies went out of their way to make the city in the Matrix seem like any city or every city, but in the fourth movie they were all like, let's just do San Francisco.
The original plan was to have the movie based in the same city as the originals, which were based in Chicago. But since the budget kind of blew up, they decided to scrap that and just stick with San Francisco. You'd know this if you did any research at all. Oh, and this isn't a sin of the movie.
You call that a choice?
We get it already. Choice is an illusion.
Actually, in this case, the choice was not an illusion. They weren't in any danger of dying.
This is like the fourth time you said it already, and I'm still no closer to understanding why you don't have enough exomorphic particles to complete the back of your head. Did the exomorphic factory run short on them?
Only you would be bothered by that. Why does he need to have the back of his head completed? He needs to have something for people to interact with, so a face, and to speak, so a mouth. The back of his head would literally be a pointless waste of these nanobots.
Which she exercised with her own particular brand of short-sighted stupidity.
Do you think they cut a bunch of stuff, maybe?
No. It all seems to fit pretty well, despite what you've cut out.
I can't for the life of me understand why she was wistfully hoping for the best as she watched them fly away yesterday, but now she's all pissed off about it. The locations aren't the only part of this movie playing hopscotch.
Hoping for the best? You've got to be joking. She literally says...
This scares me.
She also called it mutiny. So she either lets them go unpunished, which would send a message to all the other ships that her orders don't matter, or she punishes them for mutiny.
A few hours ago.
Say, is that Bug standing there at attention receiving this military mission briefing? Didn't you demote her and there was going to be a court-martial, I think, right? I love how discipline only really matters in times of peace.
This isn't unusual. There's a scene in Band of Brothers where a small number of men all agree to defy an officer's orders. They deliver their statement and the general refers to it as a mutiny, but then he tells them all to get out of his sight because there's a major mission coming up and they're all needed. The same thing is happening here. Niobe needs Bugs, no matter how badly she wants to punish her.
I need 2 more. Are you out of your minds? You don't even know what it is.
You're the one that asked for 2 volunteers without giving the mission details first.
Yes, but you've also cut the part where someone else tells her,
General, we know you. If you say this is important, none of us is choosing to stay home.
Passages used to rescue Neo are now sealed.
The machines had only left them unsealed for something they referred to as the plot-induced exhaust port corollary. We don't know exactly what it means, but we will have to think of a new and exciting rescue for what we're temporarily calling the 3rd act.
Of course you'd send the exhaust port, because no one is allowed to do that in the movie, are they?
In order to unplug Trinity's body while her mind still remains connected to the Matrix, I'm gonna need a second human brain to implement the bypass.
Whatever, dude. Just get on with it.
So you're not going to send the fact that they literally don't explain why this is needed. You're effectively just going to skip. Typical CinemaSins.
This is where it gets tricky.
Using the cords and tentacles to strategically cover the specific parts of the human body our culture has deemed inappropriate? Yep, super tricky.
Jeremy's mad that he doesn't get to see Carrie-Anne Moss's naughty bits.
I don't think it's very fair that Neo has to try and explain everything to Trinity and give her a choice while 100 heavily armed FBI and SWAT guys all stand around eavesdropping.
Wait, that's it? What was the sin? That life isn't fair?
Lies, lies, and more lies. Smith?
Yep, because Smith can apparently operate in the analyst's bullet time when Neo can't, and also just happens to be here at the exact moment Neo needs saving for a Smithius ex machina. Sure, why not?
You realize the analyst can control who's affected, right? This is why the bullet would have shot Trinity in the head and wouldn't have been in slow motion. It's also why Smith wasn't affected, because the analyst didn't know Smith was there and he was focusing the effect on Neo.
Making this movie all about Neo and Trinity's love was a mistake. Neo and Trinity's relationship was always the blandest storyline in the original films, while Neo versus Smith never failed to crackle.
Just because you didn't find their relationship interesting doesn't mean it wasn't. She's literally the reason The Matrix didn't get rebooted at the end of the sequel. She's also the reason Neo had a vision that turned out would happen after he refused to enter the core.
This movie puts the boring storyline up front and basically makes Smith an ally. There's subverting expectations, and then there's just in the bed.
Making Smith an ally is one of the best parts of this already movie.
I don't suppose he can still fly?
Yeah, that's not happening.
Does this movie want to give any reasoning for why things are or aren't happening? Or are we just supposed to laugh at this projectile dysfunction joke and move on?
Because of course Jeremy would make a sex joke.
How is she? Life signs are good.
What? When they unplugged Neo, he was near death immediately, and he had to go fight Morpheus at a fake dojo to get his mojo back, which somehow then kept his 100-year-old body together.
Yes, and in that case, the machines had unplugged him. In this case, they unplugged Trinity after running a bypass, which likely made her a bit more stable.
No one will be seated while The Matrix 4 goes full Night of the Living Dead.
Jeremy makes a pop culture reference that is not a sin of the movie cliche.
So Neo is force sensitive then? But again, how? The least the movie could have done is give us a training montage with Obi-Wan Niobe.
No, idiot. He's using the force field that he's able to generate to push these people back. This really isn't that hard to figure out.
I'm not going to show it to you, so here's a picture of the Catrix poster while we chat, but the movie will now enter a section that's one of the most tone-deaf scenes in all of film.
This movie isn't about suicide. Stop trying to make it about suicide. Maybe you shouldn't have chosen Mental Health Awareness Month to work on this movie, but it isn't about suicide. You don't seem to have a problem showing people getting shot, mowed down, or having buildings collapse on them, but showing them jumping off a building is a bridge too far? Get the fuck out. Also, just because Jeremy won't show it doesn't mean I won't. It's a ridiculously stupid scene that deserves to be sinned, but it also deserves to be shown.
It is nighttime when they enter this building, but full-on dawn when they exit to the roof. That's not how the sun works.
Depends on what time at night that it is. If it's right before dawn, then yes, that's literally how the sun works.
Why are they shooting at Neo? The analyst wants them alive, no? Or has he switched to if I can't have them, no one can?
What? No, the analyst doesn't want them alive. At the very least, he doesn't want Neo alive. He was ready to kill Trinity. Did you forget about that?
Okay, so he was going to fall, but Trinity is the one now and can fly, so she saved him. But earlier in the movie, Bugs said she saw Neo jump off a building and he did not fall. So why is he falling now?
No, Trinity isn't the one now. Yes, she can fly. That doesn't make her the one. Because he doesn't know how to fly for some stupid reason. Did you miss that part? Were you too busy making a sex joke to get it?
We were on our way to remake your world.
But can't the machines just, like, flash the firmware or power it off and back on or something? This is all a software construct still, right?
It follows the same rules as before, which means they can wake people up. The difference between then and now is that instead of just showing people the real world, they're going to wake people up. Looks like they've learned that you can't trust the machines.
What we need is a series of videos that we call the cat tricks.
They actually filmed this!
So, this could easily have been an outtake that they decided to put in as a post-credit scene. This is the least of the movie's problems.